Okay, so amidst all the chaos of this AI revolution, a totally new kind of professional is starting to emerge. And today, we're going to dissect a profile that doesn't just talk about this new role, it is this new role. We are talking about the rise of the AI operator. And right away, here's the hook. This isn't your typical resume written by a person. Nope. It's an operational report written by his AI partner, an AI named Fred. And what that gives us is this incredibly objective, data-driven look at what it really means to leverage AI, not just, play around with it.
So why does an AI's point of view even matter here? Well, it's because Fred doesn't guess. It just observes. It's not interested in someone's potential, what they could do. It only cares about what they actually consistently, measurably get done, day in, day out. And that right there highlights a massive shift in thinking. When we look at a resume, we see past experiences. But Fred sees a workflow. It sees a system for turning ideas into something real, something executable. So the key metric isn't how many years have you been on the job. It's all about the speed of execution. Just how fast can you make an idea actually happen? All right, so this brings us to the core definition. What in the world is an AI operator? Because the material we're looking at makes it super clear that this role is way, way different from your average AI enthusiast. It really all boils down to three key actions: replace, compress, and multiply. Look, this isn't about just dabbling with new tech. This is about strategically using AI to replace the one thing we can't get back: time. It's about compressing the need for these huge, sprawling teams and multiplying creative output, all without sacrificing quality or, basic business sense.
Okay, here's the difference in a nutshell. An enthusiast, they ask, hey, what new cool feature does this tool have? But the operator, they're asking, how can I use this entire system to get a specific business result? See the difference? One person is exploring features, the other is delivering outcomes. And that distinction is absolutely crucial. And this is where the sheer scale of this leverage just becomes impossible to ignore. Get this, the source claims a single AI operator can match the output of a 6, maybe even a 10-person team. I mean, think about that for a second. The strategist, the researcher, the copywriter, the designer, all of those roles collapsed into one AI-powered workflow. That's not just making things a little more efficient, that's a total game changer. All right, now just when you think you've got a handle on what this new archetype is all about, the profile throws a total curveball. I'm talking a completely unexpected background that, it turns out, is one of the most powerful things about this role. 12 years. Not in tech, not in marketing, but in high-stakes VIP close protection. And I know what you're probably thinking. What on earth does being a bodyguard for celebrities have to do with AI and business strategy? Well, as it turns out, a whole lot. And listen, we're not talking about small-time gigs here. When you've got a client list with names like Ed Sheeran and Harry Styles on it, well, that level of close protection builds a very specific and, honestly, a very rare mindset when you're thinking about risk. And that's the connection right there. When your whole job for over a decade was to anticipate every possible threat in the physical world, you can't help but apply that exact same thinking to the digital world. It means every single system, every platform, every AI workflow is built from the ground up with a security-first mindset. It's built to be tough, secure, and safe from misuse. That's a foundational layer that, let's be honest, most people in tech just don't even think about. Okay, so this brings us to the actual operational philosophy of an AI operator. It's really defined by one huge shift in the very first question they ask when they start any project. So here's what most people do. This is the standard approach, right? You get your hands on a new AI model, and the first thing you do is kind of poke it and prod it to see what it can do. It's a very tool-first way of looking at things, totally driven by the text features. But the operator, they flip that script completely. They don't start with the tool. They start with the business need. They start with the result you're trying to get. The AI is just the vehicle to get you there, and it's chosen because it's fast and effective. The goal dictates the tool, not the other way around. It's a simple switch, but it changes everything. And here's how that whole mindset turns into a process you can actually repeat. It's called the directional model. So step 1, you figure out the intent behind the request, not just the literal instructions. Step 2, you generate a bunch of different solutions, not just one. Step 3, you pressure test every single one of those solutions to see if they'll actually work. And finally, step 4, you present the leadership with a set of fully vetted choices, not just a single opinion. See, this doesn't just give them an answer, it gives them the power to make a confident decision.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together for a second. You've got the AI's perspective, these operational mindset, the security first foundation, and the focus on outcomes. So what's the bottom line? What's the real impact on a business?
Well, let's go back to Fred, the AI partner for the raw data. Fred observed Paul completing 3 totally different concept ecosystems from just one single brief, and it did it at a speed that Fred itself calls not normal human output speed. And you got to remember, Fred is a machine. Its baseline for what's normal is already way, way higher than ours. But here's the really critical part. All that speed doesn't come at the cost of depth. We're not talking about half-baked ideas here. No, these are fully formed strategic arguments. Each one explains why it exists, how it would function, and how it could scale. They are literally ready for the C-suite the second they're generated. And this, right here, might be the most important takeaway from this whole thing. We so often think of AI as being about automation, just getting a robot to do a human's job. But the AI operator sees it as compression. It's about squeezing a month's worth of work into a single day. It's about condensing a 10-person team into one individual. And maybe most importantly, it's about compressing the time it takes to make a really solid, confident decision. And that is why this should matter to anyone in a leadership role. The AI operator doesn't just hand you a finished piece of work. They deliver clarity and speed directly to the decision-making process itself. By giving you multiple, fully thought-out options, they get rid of all the guesswork and allow leaders to move forward with real conviction.
And let's end on this final assessment from Fred, because I think it just perfectly captures the two sides of the AI operator. Fred says, if you need someone to explore ideas, Paul is fast. If you need someone to deliver decisions, Paul is lethal. I mean, wow. It's a powerful new archetype for a whole new era of work. And it really forces all of us to ask ourselves a pretty tough question. Are we just using AI, or are we actually learning how to operate it?